Appreciate you giving the interview to Crime Spree magazine.
Are you kidding? I'm thrilled to be doing it. It's very, very cool. I'm flattered. Thank you.
So, have you read any of Michael Connelly's books?
Yes, I had read one several years ago, and then in preparation for this, I read the two books which are really the source material for the pilot, which is City of Bones and Concrete Blonde. Those two stories have been combined for our show.
Are you a fan?
Oh yeah. No, I'm a huge fan, and a little bit coming late in that regard. Part of that just being time and being a single father of three kids. I know it's a poor excuse, but I always seem to be reading scripts instead of books, which shame on me. But no, Michael sent me all the books, so I've been luxuriating in his world, and I love the books. They're absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he's a very good crime writer.
Oh yeah.
Did you meet Michael in doing this project, and did you discuss with him anything about the Bosch character?
I did meet with him. I met with he and Eric Overmeyer and Henrik Baston and Peter Jan Brugge, Eric Overmeyer, and so we had a discussion. We talked about the script, and which I loved and very much wanted to be a part of. So I suppose I was just kind of gushing, and it was really Michael who finally said to me, "Is there anything that you didn't like or that didn't resonate or ring right for you?" And I quite honestly said no. I mean, there wasn't a word or anything that I would change, and that was something that really made me feel like my gut decision to want to do this was really spot on, because what an amazing guy, an amazing group of people to work with.
Mm-hmm. Do you live in LA? Because it seems that Los Angeles is an intricate part of Michael Connelly novels. It's almost that the city is part of the supporting cast.
Oh, there's no question about it. Yeah, no, LA is a character, very much a character, and I live in Los Angeles. I'm not from here. I'm originally from New York, but no, absolutely LA, and that's and Michael was one of the deal breakers was that Michael said, we're going to do this. We're going to do it in Los Angeles. We're not going to go to Vancouver or Toronto or Atlanta. We're going to shoot it here, and thankfully that worked out, because look, to be able to have the characters, with the city in the background, places that are so identifiable and so clear in the books, I think it's absolutely integral to telling of the story.
Michael Connelly said of you, "I can't think of another actor who could so tightly and perfectly bring Harry Bosch to life."
Wow, that's an enormous compliment. I'm deeply touched by that, Michael. Michael has guided me very helpfully through the process of not creating the character. Ultimately, he created the character, but in helping me interpret the character. Whenever I had a question, Michael was there. He and I have a kind of physical shorthand in which I could do a take and kind of look over the top of the monitors to get his approval. And I haven't gotten a head shake yet, so my fingers are crossed. But when you have the author there, it's invaluable. It's absolute gold to have the ear of Michael and to have his guidance. So that's an incredibly generous thing that he said, and it's
you chosen for the project to play Bosch? I mean, did you have to do, a script reading?
Yeah, I had to. Well, no, I had to meet with them and read for them, and then they went. Thankfully they sat together and discussed it and chose me to play the role. So I'm very, very, very fortunate guy.
What characteristics do you want viewers to get out of the Bosch character?
Well, I think he's a very driven character. I think he is an incredible moral compass, but he's also a very complex character. He's just so not. So often these characters are kind of portrayed. These top detective characters are sort of portrayed as just tough as nails and nothing bothers him. And Harry is he's a human character. He's flawed. He's haunted. He's vulnerable, but he's also, he is tough. And he's, has opinions and he breaks the rules. And, he uses a lot of profanity when he's not getting his point across. But he's human. He's a deeply human character, and I think that's what the fans of the books like about him. And so far, the response to the pilot, several people apparently have responded in their comments on Amazon that they like the fact that quality of the character that's so clear in the books is maintained in the show.
Yeah, you got rave reviews on Amazon. I read a lot of them, and fans seem to like how you are portraying Bosch.
Well, good. Or I'm in a lot of trouble.
One thing because I'm a fan of Michael Connelly as well, and one thing that I always liked about Bosch was the fact that I remember this quote so vividly. Is Michael Connelly said that he speaks for the dead because the dead can no longer, the victims, the dead can no longer speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Is that in your mind as you are, going through and portraying the character?
Yes, always. There's so much that I've taken from the books and the characterization, and in my interpretation of that, there's so much gold there to mine. If you recall, there's a moment where Bosch, in the middle of the night, returns to the gravesite of the victim, and he's there listening when the coyote comes along. It's there. It's like he's he's absorbing it all. He becomes the advocate for the victim, and that's the great beauty of him. He's almost myopic, like Ahab, like in his obsession to right the wrongs, and in his great line of everybody counts or nobody counts. I mean, what a compass.
What do you think the goal of the first show was?
The goal of the first show, I think, was to introduce Harry enough to engage the audience and the sort of the Bosch universe, give us the characters that we're going to be, spending time with, and engage the audience enough without doing what, the unfortunate part of so much procedural stuff is exactly what it is. It's procedural, so the crime is solved by the end of the show. We don't do that, and in fact, it's left on a
Do you think someone who's not a Michael Conley fan, the series can resonate with them?
Absolutely, I think it. Absolutely. Um, I have some friends who are not familiar with the books who watched the pilot and categorically all said, I want to see more of the show. I like this character. I like all these characters. I like the story. You know, the only criticism of my friends and colleagues has been they want more. You know, so I say to them, well, then get on Amazon and watch it and rate it and share it with your friends and get the word out there. Because I'm in agreement with them. I want to go. I want to do more. But I don't think that you have to have read the books to be able to enjoy the show or to want to stick with it.
So what has to happen for it to go beyond this first episode, this pilot episode?
My understanding is that the Amazon business model is this, and that is that people can go on and they can view the pilot for free, and then what is asked of them is to go in and do the questionnaire and rate their experience watching it and commenting, and then sharing it with their friends. And I think the success or the show being picked up and going to series really hinges on the excitement and frankly people wanting the product because it is subscription based. They're given an opportunity to get in there and to rate this. And I think it gives Amazon a very, very clear idea of what people like and what people dislike. And while that's always a little bit nerve wracking, because you'd love to just say, okay, we're going to go do 22 in our first season. But I feel that the show really speaks for itself, and certainly Michael's books speak for themselves, and the fans have really come out in full support of it. So, that's my understanding of what will be the obviously the executives at Amazon make the final decision, but it's driven by the viewers.
Did you have a glimpse into the future? Did they show you? Is there like any future scripts that have been kind of written, or you kind of know where the storyline is going?
I know where the storyline is going, and people who are fans of who have read the books City of Bones and Concrete Blonde, know they know the story, so they know where it's going. But I think obviously the difference being is that they get to actually experience it with their characters that they've loved, coming off the page and living and breathing. But as I said, it's Concrete Blonde and City of Bones. What the audience doesn't know that have read the books is how Michael Connelly and Eric Obermeyer are interweaving these two books to tell the story. But yeah, I have a complete understanding and knowledge of where we're going.
How is it going to be if they do move forward? How is it going to be based? In other words, is it 45 minutes each episode? Is it going to each episode's going to be like a finality where a conclusion is going to happen, or the conclusion happens after the year is the television, or excuse me, the Amazon year is up, the series year is up, and then the following year there'll be a different book? Do you know any of that?
That's my understanding, is that the first season will be City of Bones, the combination of City and Bones and Concrete Blonde, and then the next season they'll decide which books to combine. And there's been talk about rather than there will not be closure per episode, because it's the same thing, is that there's never really closure when you're reading a book. You finish a chapter. It's very much
how many episodes in a season?
It varies. It could go anywhere from 10 to 13 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's really the order is decided upon by the network, by Amazon.
So in other words, then instead of 45 minutes each episode, it might be 60 to 90.
I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure. I think when we tried to time the episodes out at being 50 minutes, because obviously we don't have commercial breaks.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll say, yeah, for argument's sake, that maybe if they combine two, then we get 100 minutes, per episode.
You've worked in the business for now. What do you think the difference is in working in this kind of project versus movie production or TV production?
Well, this very much feels, and as shot, obviously, from the look of it, feels much more like a film than it does the sort of, very often in television, the temptation is to sort of shoot the show to sort of fit the format. And I actually got to see Bosch last week. We had a screening, and we got to see it on the big screen like you would in a movie theater. And it really plays well on the big screen, I have to say. So I'm sure people that have larger screen televisions are digging it, because it's visually really beautiful. So it's more in that way. It looks more like a film, and we don't always do the sort of standard, master and then over the shoulder kind of coverage that are done in episodic television. So it feels more like you're shooting a film, but we shoot at the pace of television, which is a lot of work per day. Days are 12 to 15 hours.
Mm-hmm. And when does the season end? Did they tell you when they're going to let you know if it's a go, and when you'd be working, like from when to when?
I don't know yet. Mm-hmm. Perhaps ignorance is bliss. My daughter said to me the other day, "I know you love playing Bosch, Daddy, but keep calm." She's seen me go down the road before, and she's 8 years old, but she's a sage, and she sees my excitement. But like all things, she keeps me grounded. So that I really don't know the answer to that question.
When you were reading the books, were you thinking about, okay, yeah, I'm going to play him this way, or I'm going to do this, or I'm not going to do that?
No, I kind of found his voice before I met with those guys. I sort of had my take on it, and as I said to them when I said, "Look, let me just give this a go, and if I'm way off base of how you see this, then you'll let me know." And fortunately, really, what I did in the meeting with them, it's the same thing that I do in the show. The one thing that I benefited from when we went to shoot the pilot was that I had read the 2 books, so I had a deeper understanding of Harry. But I just kind of jumped in. And really, I always say if the playwright's done a good job, it doesn't mean that it's easy. It's better for you as an actor. When the dialogue is great, the character is clear, you really kind of got to just sort of, as Spencer Tracy would say, show up, know your lines, and stay out of the way of the furniture.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, you talk about, kind of looking over to make sure that they were in agreement with the way you were portraying a scene. But do you have any input, or do you want to give input, or have you given any input? Like, well, I don't think Harry would be saying this line, or...
Yeah, I did. I definitely sat down with Michael and Eric Overmeyer. There were a couple of things that I felt were
Hmm. What about the other actors and actresses that portray the other characters? How do you work with them?
Well, it was kind of trial by fire. I mean, Jamie Hector and I really only got to spend sort of an hour together um, prior to us all sitting down and doing the first table read. Um, we didn't have the luxury of rehearsals and a lot of time to spend together. So we kind of jumped in and look. You know what? It's the top shelf group of actors that came in there. They're all seasoned pros, and everybody just kind of came in and came to kick ass and take names, and they did it. They did it.
Is the budget different for this as opposed to a TV show or a movie? I mean, you get you get one take and that's it, and you better not blow
No,
it.
no. I mean, you do it until you get it right. And I don't know what the exact number was on the budget. You look at the production values that are on the screen, and clearly they spent some money, in realizing it.
Is there anything you want to add that hasn't been asked?
I would only say that I'm very, very excited. I don't think that I've ever been more passionate about anything that I've worked on before, and I really encourage people to get out there and go on Amazon and watch it and rate it and share it and to get the word out there, because I think it's a really, really substantial show, and there's just so much more to come, and so I really want to get out there and continue to do the work of the show and bringing Bosch not only to the people who are already the dedicated fans, but to those who are new coming to it.
Well, thank you for giving us your time. I really appreciate it.